RWA, swept it under the rug. Nothing bad happened to them.
It's the privilege, man. It's the privilege in the community.
When you're at a top level, the amount of things that you can say is just it's ridiculous. And honestly, the truth is, if Zethano wasn't a if Zethano was a bigger name and was just friendly with the community and had a lot of friends, he probably wouldn't have gotten as much backlash as he did. People in this community, I didn't even think it was gonna get to this topic, but like, yeah, man, people have privilege, especially if you're an RWA Fed owner, and people, and Sean, like you said, people just have to admit that they take this somewhat seriously because looking back on my tenure, like, bro, if you've been in this community for longer than a year or two, those are hours every week that you spend. That's at least 365 hours, assuming that's at least like 50 hours. 50 hours if you're spending 1 hour at a show. Just 1 hour. And that's generous because there are people who have this as a real hobby and spend a long time at shows. So that's 52 hours, and I refuse to believe someone would just waste those 52 hours on something that they don't take seriously. Because people, the truth is in this community, people take this shit seriously. They don't like to admit it though, and it's okay to admit that because if the sooner we start to uh, give a shit about wrestling, then we can actually say, okay, well, what can we do to make this better? Um, because I understand that like this is a fun thing, but it can't be a fun thing if there are no lines, if there's no boundaries. And I know like it's like a it's just not it's not fun when it's not edgy or whatever because there's a lot of young people in this community, but like looking back on it, I forgot who tweeted this out, but but someone said stop the racism because it gets you nowhere. And really, like, bro, I look back on some like a lot of the stuff that I said, like, yeah, and like I've also been accountable for it too. I look at the stuff I said 2, 3 years ago, and where did that get me? That got me nowhere. Just it really gets you nowhere, man. And people are young in this community, so they'll laugh at the jokes, but I'm telling you guys, in the chat, bro, people who are watching this or replaying this or uh, going through the DVR, it really gets you nowhere, man. Just being a shitty person online, being a shitty person in real life, it it gets you. It doesn't get you anywhere. And bro, I gotta say it louder for the people in the back, because people are just there's just some people who log on and the shit that they say will just go through the motherfucking roof with no regard. And I think there needs to be a line. Because at some point, at some point, there won't be people will take that seriously. Like, people can develop bad thoughts because of that. If you're attacking people in this community, like, I think sometimes people forget that we are people. Like at some point, busting someone's balls becomes a problem. You know,
Definitely. Definitely agree
Yeah,
with
for
that
sure.
110%.
it's hard for people to understand this because, and I know especially because I've grown and matured so much. But there are young ass people in this community. Like people in this chat probably are younger than 15, and they it's hard to develop these type of skills where you're able to, and we live in this generation where online being, and I'm sorry, I've been going on for a while, guys, but it's just like these are just it's again, I told you guys, it's a sensitive topic. People really need to think about this. People need to understand that like the more you spread a bad influence on yourself and people, the more that you're gonna stay in that phase. You know, at some point it doesn't become a phase of, oh, I was edgy, or like I made a lot of, messed up jokes. At some point it doesn't become a phase, it becomes who you are. Like, if you don't have any positive influences, then you're not gonna be able to become a positive person. There in the community, I give you a good example, like SCW, Mighty Reynolds. Look at that community, man. That's something that you want to replicate because that guy's a good person. And people see that and people want to become a good person. There are, the more you normalize just doing the bare minimum of just being nice to people and having some sort of camaraderie, the more you normalize that, the more people will follow on that. Because I know a lot of people think that they don't a lot of people think that their actions don't matter. But as minuscule as pro wrestling is in the grand scheme of things, people will follow. Like, people will follow this. And you the viewer right now, you yourself will be a huge influence, dude. Let me tell you something. The people within right when I retired, I really, really had a bad outlook on this community until I saw people in the Roblania community in our server, and I just see how like positive some people can be. Like people who I just had no idea, like Tydev, for example. The one guy, fucking, I'm gonna botch his name, but Kimpado or Chimpado. I don't know. But those are nice people because there are nice people in this community. And the more nicer people are, the more positive everyone overall will be. I'll let you guys speak because I've been going on for way too long.
Let me say one thing. The part about busting your balls, it's gotten so bad because that's basically like embroiled into so many people's brains where they don't see past through that shit. They don't really think about your feelings and they just think they think you're taking it as a joke as well. But they're actually hurting your feelings. You don't realize that, and then it's gonna fall on you. I said it gets embroiled into your brains by like it's become part of society, and people don't see right from wrong.
Definitely, I agree with you 100%. Take it from me. You can ask anybody that knew me back in 2019. I was one of the most toxic people in the entire community. I was horrible. I wasn't a good person at all. I was nowhere close to it. It's possible to change. If you really want to change. I really wanted to. I sat down. I was a Discord packer. I was getting into beef. Hell, even Ken, the chairman of APRW, I was a roster member of his. He didn't like me, and I didn't like him. Go ahead, go ahead. And Ken didn't like me. I didn't like Ken. It was it was weird because I had to go to his Fed knowing the chairman did not like me, and the roster members didn't even like me. I really wanted to change. I sat down one night, I reevaluated myself. I was thinking, what the hell am I doing? Packing on Discord, getting into beef for no reason. It doesn't benefit you. It really doesn't.
Right.
And I changed because that's I really wanted to. Because what the hell did it get me? Nothing. I went from being one of the most toxic individuals in the community to arguably one of the most beloved superstars and individuals in this community at the moment. I treat everybody equally. I changed for the better. I just felt like I had to because it was getting me nowhere. Sure, it was getting me a name, but in a negative light. So I had to reevaluate myself, and I did, and I changed, and now I believe I'm one of the most loved people in the community, and I try to show everybody as much love back as they try and give to me. You can ask anybody that talks to me. You come up to me, I'll talk to you. I don't care if you're some unknown jobber from the indies going to a 10-person fed. I don't care if you're a mid card. I don't care if you're an old gen who's trying to get his way back into the community. I'm gonna talk to you because there's this stigma that, oh, all high cards, all well-known people are mean. I feel like I'm trying to break that stigma. I talk to anybody. You come up to me, we can have a conversation. I'll ask you, how's your day going? How you feeling? You doing okay? So what's up? What you need? I'll be nice to you. Hell, I'll even reach out to people sometimes just to talk to them. I do that. Sure, it's hard to keep up. I get a lot of DMs daily on Discord every day, and I can't respond to everybody, of course, but I try my best. I try to give as much love to them as they give to me. And if you talk to me, if I'm cool with you and you're cool with me, I'm gonna talk to you. If we had a bad history, I'm gonna try and squash all that. So it's really just it depends on if you really want to change as a person. So it really just makes a difference in the community because walking up to somebody and just being nice to them, it could change their entire day around. Because what people don't understand, negativity spreads, and but so does positivity. So if you're positive to somebody and say something nice to them and you're nice to them, they'll take that positivity you gave to them. The next person they encounter, they're getting a positive vibe as well, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. Same thing for negativity. You give someone negativity and it just spreads. Negativity spreads, so does positivity. So if you really want to change this community, it doesn't hurt to be nice to somebody. You may not like somebody, but it doesn't mean you can't be nice to them. So it's really just preference on if you really want to, change for the better. I did it. Think anybody else could do it if they
I
really want
think
to.
I think it's possible that Wide could even go through this same phase because, he's been in multiple situations this past 2 or 3 months, and he's gotten hate in the community, mixed opinions, but that's also because people like to. I don't mean to be negative when I speak of Wide in this way, but people like to follow Wide because he seems funny and you know but I think it's possible Wad could go through the same path you did, where you have these situations going on where you're being really negative, and you take a step back and you try to reevaluate your life and what's going on, and then you can become this awesome and nice person like you are.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Let's read the comment. Uh,
Let's see what we got here. Oh, Carrie. Yo, Carrie, slide me your Discord. We have not talked in a fat, fat minute. She says she's a heel. We were just reading the chat because we went over how somebody could really change if they wanted to make the community a better place. And I use myself as an example because anybody who knew me back in 2019 knew I was a absolute piece of shit. I
Yeah.
was horrible.
Mm.
So yeah, I just did that and went on a little tangent about how you can change if you really want to, and how positivity spreads, negativity spreads, and stuff like that of that nature.
And it's really corny, guys. I know, like a lot of people hate it when people talk about this type of stuff because it's like, it's just like like it's like, oh, be nice, So I've heard this everywhere, but like it's true, like there's no other way to word it. And it's like when you actually grow up and you look back at your time in pro wrestling, you'll realize like, oh damn, that person said a lot of the same shit that I said, and you're like, oh, like no matter how small or how just I think it's really important that people share their stories because there's a lot of people who go through and a lot of people leave this community. Like I've at least seen like 5 comments on Roblania videos that have nothing to do with like have nothing to do with people leaving or wrestling or like even discussions where they comment, "Oh yeah, I'm leaving this community because it's toxic." Maybe talk about that. Like talk about it. Talk about the people who do that. Talk about the people who hold people accountable. Bro, like I look at the tag me in movement and like actual wrestling. Why don't we have stuff like that? That'd be cool. Let's start a hashtag right now. Fuck it.
Word, hashtag tag me in.
well, wait,
No.
wait a minute. I think UPW took a step in that same
They
direction with
did,
their
yes.
training tournament.
UPW, I know what you're talking about. The pay-per-view where it was to raise mental health awareness.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Yeah.
was there because not many people know this, but I suffer from bipolar depression, which is a mental illness. So they wanted me to speak out about how all that affects somebody and how we can, just be a nicer community to prevent all that. But yeah, UPW did have an event. It was an amazing event. I
Yeah.
absolutely loved it.
He's doing a really good job. Chris just see these are positive influences on the community. If every Fed owner could be like him, this community wouldn't have any problems. Like wouldn't have any of these problems of people leaving and it's just
Wait, so are we doing the hashtag or no?
uh yeah, we can. I just what do
So would it be
we
like tag me in RW for a wrestle? Because then it might get looped in with the real, not the I shouldn't say real, with the actual. Damn, how do I word this? With the
with the actual movement? Yeah, I know what you
yeah,
mean.
the real
Someone
life
in the chat
movement.
actually said tag me in RW. I forgot who that was
Oh,
though.
word, Cordova. Yeah, Cordova.
Cordova. I don't know who that guy is, but
He's a troll. That's all you need to know. Cordova, I hate you, and I'm gonna be at your front doorstep after the end of this podcast.
Tag me in RW, guys.
Yep.
We'll put you up on the screen
Tweet
and
it
everything.
out, Facebook it.
We want to hear. We want to hear it because this shit is important.
Facebook it.
Facebook it, bro.
Isn't Facebook down? Don't they have a new site now? It's called like Meta. It's like
We are
What?
Meta.
yeah, it's called yeah, it's called Meta. It has like a new logo thing. It looks like two
Meta?
balls.
What the
Meta.
fuck?
Google it. Google it, dude.
What is this?
Google it. It's not. It's no longer called Facebook. It's called Meta. Google it, bro. I'm not.
Oh,
I
well,
would
like the
never lie to
website is
you.
still facebook.com. This is a dumb
Yeah,
change. Bro,
calling it Meta.
my mom's gonna be pissed off. My family back.
Instagram's back up, but Facebook is gone.
Yeah, well,